Welcome back. You're now tuned into the other side of sports. I'm your host, Laws. We here, we in the building. I got a special guest. People like to call me a conspiracy theorist, right? Because I like to look at the facts. I want to speak truth. And this person that I got is a special guest today. He usually be get lumped into that situation because him and I think alike, dog. Great minds think alike. It's none other than my man Ralph. What's happening, bro?
Nothing much, you know what I'm saying? Just fresh back off of the vacation. Just trying to just relaxing, kind of taking a day off, just working scarcely. Ready to
Dog,
talk about this stuff. Ready to give my input.
I brought you on specifically for this because I've been talking about the Stearns orders for I don't since we started the show. Before we started, it was always a thing. I've always said the NBA is rigged. I always said sports. When you're dealing with this amount of income and money fluctuating, going through hands, it's some funny business involved, dog. Because one thing I do know about people is that they greedy, that people want to live lavish lifestyles, and if
Absolutely.
they can find a way to do that at minimal cost, they gonna find a way, dog. And so I happened shout out to my man Wes because he was like, after we did the show on Tuesday, he texted me and was like, dog, you gotta go on Netflix and you gotta watch the Tim Donaghy joint called Untold. I said, bro, he said, you gotta go to the joint ASAP. So I said, all right, bet. I'm gonna go watch the joint. This joint is so much in it that I can't I'm shocked that they even allowed this joint to get out. Because if Stern was still alive, there's no way in the world he would have let this joint go. It's no way.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
It's no way. They talk about Tim Donaghy. He talks about. So for those you don't know, because I always got to get context. Tim Donaghy was a referee in the NBA for years. He was refing. I mean, all NBA games and stuff. And then it came out that he was betting on the NBA games. When it came out that it was betting on the NBA games, basically the league made him the scapegoat. He took the whole hit for they basically labeled him one bad apple out of the bunch, and they basically assured the public that there was no funny business going on in professional NBA or whatever, and he took the L for it. He came out and was basically saying, I wasn't betting on, he was like, I was betting on the games, but I wasn't really fixing the games. And so when you classify fixing, that could go either way. How you saying? He was saying that the league already had a set of rules that they were governed by as referees, and he just understood that governing situation, and he used that information and tipped Bama's off to where they should put their bets. Example, he was saying that the league was as a business trying to cater to the particular athletes that were good, and so they would call certain calls to let the premier athletes get away with certain things because that was the initiative of the league to promote these Jordans and Shaquille O'Neals and Kobe Bryants and all of these high touted athletes that were fan favorites and brought money to the league. So they would call and allow them to basically stay on the floor and do different things. He also cited that there were referees that would hold grudges against certain players for certain reasons. And in that, they would call the game a certain way. There was an example in the show how they just basically let Allen Iverson get beat up because some of the other referees had a grudge against him. I don't know if it was I can't remember exactly who they say, if it was Scott Foster or Joey Crawford, because we're going to get to them being crooked as well. Don't worry. We're going to get to them too. But he basically just went down the litany of all the stuff and situations he'd been involved in. He was like, that's how I knew what games to pick, because these Bamas was all crooked. They was about to start an investigation on the league before David Stern tipped it off. He basically brought in the FBI, and it gets a little tricky because the dude who's the FBI agent on the joint, he makes it seem like he wasn't trying to do any funny business, that he was all about a book or whatever. but it's just some stuff that didn't make sense. I mean, he said his boss, excuse me, he said his boss basically was like, you need to tell David Stern that you're doing an investigation. He was like, he didn't want to tell David Stern. They just wanted to like put the wiretaps on Tim Donaghy to see what other refs they could get. You know, they had other named refs that were a part of some gambling situations and that was going on. And then basically after Tim Donaghy took the L, all that just went away, dog. Either David Stern is the greatest mobster of all time, and he paid these Bamas. Dog, that's the only explanation I can come to.
Facts.
What, Ralph? What are your thoughts on the joint? I know you, Tim Donaghy was about to have a book out. It was a whole bunch of situations he was going to try to do to clear his name, and look like he just sat down. Did they pay the man and they keep him quiet? I mean, I know he lived down in Sarasota, Florida, in a big old house. He talking about he grinded and got his bread back. I don't know, champ. What did they make a deal? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, like I was saying before, and everybody's deep down heart of hearts, you know something is funny about these games. You never sat and watched a game and saw an egregious call and jumped out your seat and be like, what in the world was that? Everybody's done that. And then you start to think, you see it over and over again. With Tim Donaghy was just one apple in a tree full of apples in an orchard full of apple trees. Like, the whole NBA from the top to the bottom, we know there's some corrupt, funny business going on. Anytime when you have money to be made and that much money flying around, nobody's going to leave it up to chance. Nobody's going to leave it up to chance. If you knew you had some loaded dice in your drawer and somebody was your friends were about to come over to shoot a crap game and they would never know the difference, it's very tempting not to go in that drawer and pull out those loaded dice and start using them in the situation. And I think this is what's going to happen in the situation. Why would the NBA want certain players to lose? Like, why would you want Jordan to lose in the second round of the playoffs? Like, what good would that do for the NBA? Why would you want Kobe and Shaq to get eliminated in the first round? It's a business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like, how am I going to mark if Kobe and Shaq are at home? How am I going to market? Like, how can I market them? Like, they need to be in the playoffs. I need people to keep watching 3 more months after the season ends. I'll do whatever it takes. So, of course, it's going to go a certain way. I think Tim Donaghy was the ref. I haven't watched the documentary yet, but I think Tim Donaghy was the ref in the 2006 Miami-Dallas series when Dwayne Wade went to the free throw like 60 times, free throw line. Yeah. And clearly Dallas was the better team, but it's like the NBA had to try to figure out a way to keep Shaq because they wanted D-Wade to be the next superstar of the NBA. They wanted Shaq one of the faces of the league to win a championship. They did not like Mark Cuban. They never did. And it just wasn't, and they couldn't market dirt. So it's just like, nah, we're just going to have to push Miami on you. You know what I'm saying? And it happened 2002, the Lakers and Kings. Like
that Lakers and Kings joke was egregious.
I'm a Laker. I was a diehard Lakers fan until LeBron came. But like being a diehard Lakers fan, I watched that game and it was like I felt bad. Like this isn't fair. Like we're getting to the line over and over again. Like Horry was going baseline and like going up a layups missing, and they were sitting Horry to the line. I'm like, all right, this is out of control. They not ready for Sacramento. They don't want Bibby hoisting up that trophy. So.
No. Is it no? And the thing is too, like people will sit here and they'll say, "You telling me the players is in on it, dog?" I'm like, listen, the players don't necessarily. What are they supposed to do?
They play their part.
If they say anything, they gonna get fined, dog. They made it to where you can't even comment about bad officiating without getting a major fine, dog. Then on top of that, you paid very handsomely, dog.
Yeah.
You lost. Shut up, dog. Go home to $1 million home, dog. Relax.
Exactly.
It is what it is. Deal with it.
Exactly.
You don't like it, you can shovel snow and you know what I'm saying? Drive around the country in big trucks. Like you going to deal with it, dog.
Yeah. Especially when that $365,000 hits your account for one game.
Yeah,
I don't care what the rest call.
They cheated me, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You part of the machine. The money that they pay you is only possible because of the revenues generated from the teams and the viewership, dog. So you you gotta fall back, right?
Like you gotta bite that bullet.
Dog,
what I'm
we
saying?
know it's subjective. The calls that they make, they can basically he spelled it out. And I tell people this all the time, and people be like, dog, but what you saying? Like it's the WWE? Dog, get out of here, dog. Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if a supervisor, you're a referee, let's make you a referee today.
Okay.
Ralph. We make you a referee. I'm the head ref. And I come in the little locker room jump where the refs is at, and I'm like, hey, tonight we calling all ticky-tack fouls.
Yep.
All night we call it because we got to crack down on this. This thing is starting to grow in the league. We call it all ticky-tack fouls. We trying to set the tone early.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the league knows because they have the number one statisticians that look and evaluate the game.
Yeah.
They know that by default, if we call it a ticky-tack game and it's Miami versus the Wizards, by default, statistically, the Wizards commit more ticky-tack fouls, right?
Yeah.
So automatically, me coming in as a ref saying tonight, all ticky-tack, I'm giving an advantage to one of the teams over the other.
Exactly.
And a viewer may not know that, and players may not be aware of that because they're not going back and be like, oh yeah, we foul more than the other team. Like they're not looking at the games like that, dog. Especially if it's a back-to-back. You don't even have the time to go over the stats and
most of those players don't even care. You know what I'm saying? They party till 3:00 in the morning the night before. So they just going over like, all right, man, these wrestlers on some BS tonight. Moving on to the next game. We got a game Friday.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But from a league standpoint, you can use that, dog. And I'm telling you, Tim Donaghy ain't the only one, dog.
Oh nah, it's still going on to this day. I mean, even that if you're a Wizards fan, you remember when they had to let LeBron crab dribble whatever he did to get that little clutch bucket against the Wizards was supposed to beat the Cavs twice in the early rounds, early in LeBron's career. They needed LeBron to be that next superstar. And would not look good. What is it going to do him? Like, all right, we're going to build up Gilbert Arenas and then leave LeBron getting knocked out in the first round every year? Nah, it wasn't going to happen.
The Bama went up to Gilbert Arenas at the free throw line and whispered at him, dog. Yeah. That should have been a technical foul. Yeah. You can't do that.
Yeah, like, period. And Gilbert Arenas magically missed that next free throw. What did he say to him in his ear?
What did he say?
He was like, you know what time it is, right?
You know it's my time. It ain't yours. No, it's been well documented. Scott Foster in the Chris Paul saga.
We Chris know Paul, that like Chris 0-13?
0-14, dog.
Oh my goodness.
Scott Foster's, dog. That's not coincidence.
It's not a coincidence at all. I was trying to explain that to somebody, my friend. They were like, dog, you got to play the game. They played it out. It ain't this, like, that's on Chris Paul. I'm like, you really think it's on Chris Paul? Why is it only with this guy?
Dog, I can't go in my closet and flip a coin 13 times and it land on heads. Dog.
Yeah, facts.
It's no, like, come on, people. That's not even make any sense. That ain't even logically sound. What has happened is the NBA has done such a good job, and this is where you can't give David Stern credit, because this Batman has created an engine, a system of working to where even when they blatantly cheat, Bama's turn a blind eye and just can't even accept it.
Yeah, that's a fact. He's Vince McMahon. He knows how to market. He knows how to keep these games close when the games get. The refs can manipulate a whole game. The players don't have to be in on anything. The refs can just be like, you know what? All right, though, they're getting a little bit of momentum. All right, call that charge right there. That gives him his third foul. Now that player's out the game.
They can eject the 6, coach. 8 minutes.
They can do anything. They have control of the game. They have complete control of the game. Like a couple of foul calls, a superstar checking another superstar, a couple of foul calls, and that superstar's out the game. That changes the whole aspect of the game.
Dynamic.
Yeah, like everything changes.
No, and then you've heard the players, and I mean the documentary does a good job of like highlighting and citing like different instances where the players have kind of been like, "Dog, like something was going on." Like they've expressed displeasure with how the games were wrapped and being called. We know the jump is funny. They the players. They like, dog, that jump was something was funny about that jump. Like,
I sent you the clip the other day with Shaq. Was saying like Shaq just when he cursed on live TV, he was being interviewed after the game, and he was like, David Stern wondering why the NBA losing all this money, and he just went in. He was like, they got the refs control. They trying to take over the whole game. Weber on all the smoke. years after he retired. I think it was a year and a half ago when Webber was on All the Smoke. He said that game 7, Sacramento Lakers, he was like, come on now. He was like, come on. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that's all I got to say about the game. He was like, they didn't want us to win that game under any circumstances. You could go on YouTube and watch that.
No.
Who's they? You know what I'm saying? He know everybody knows what time it is. Everybody knows when somebody's supposed to win, somebody's going to fall out the way. All of a sudden, some teams just going to start to crumble. Even when in the 2016 finals that everybody loves LeBron to come back from 3-1, oh, LeBron's this. Magically, they just start allowing them to rough Steph Curry coming off them screens, rough him up, and like, all right, yeah, you could throw a little elbow. J.R. Smith, trip him up. You know what I'm saying? Push him out of bounds. Like it was the NFL. So like obviously that's gonna slow Steph Curry down, and it allowed Cleveland to climb back in the series. Next thing you know, it's a game 7.
No, and why? Because they stand and make more money. Let me tell you something about the NFL, about the NBA. Dog, these Bama's is linked at the hip. Yeah. A couple years ago, didn't the NBA and the Vegas, like, didn't they conjoin together?
See, I didn't even know about that, but that's not a surprise at all, because it's like there's no way in the world that Vegas is this, like, these Bama's are this smart. I don't care how many people you have working for you. For them to be able to predict the games with this much accuracy down to the spread, just the over and the under, it's unbelievable. And for year after year after year after year and do it, it has to be some control. And we've seen some of the weirdest things. Like sometimes you see a team at the end of the game or run out the clock, run a couple of plays, let the clock run out. Other times you see a team down by 28 aggressively pushing the ball down the field. Next thing you know, Matt Ryan just threw a touchdown. You were down 30. Why did Matt Ryan just throw a 30-yard touchdown over the middle? Like, what was that about? Like, you know what I'm saying? You see it. And it wasn't until I started gambling on games where I really started to see just little nuances. You just see little nuances of the game.
It's in every sport. All of these like little rules that they put in to be able to control the game, and we gonna focus on this year. It's all incentives for them to switch how they control the games, because eventually, like anything, if you get accustomed to everything being called a certain way and knowing, that's why they interchange out the referees and mix the referee combinations and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, they come to basketball, dog. You know who I think was the ringleader, dog?
Who? Yo, definitely. That's the Tim Duncan, right? He threw Tim Duncan out the game for laughing.
Dog, some of the stuff, if you go back and see what he was doing, some people will argue he was trying to make a name for himself, doing all the egregious charges and all the animations and stuff to get in. Dog, when I'm telling you, let me just say this. These Bamas live good lives, dog. They do. They make high
quality lives. They make good money.
They make good money. You know, they really don't have no reason to be doing the funny business, dog, on the side. But let me tell you something about human beings, dog. Human beings are greedy, dog.
Yeah.
They want what they want. They want as much. If they're making $100K today, and you have a way for them to get $200K, they gonna do it, dog.
Yeah. That's an absolute fact.
It's no question. So all of this, why would they do it? Because if I got $100 and you telling me I can get $500, and all I gotta do is blow my whistle a few times, guess what Bama's is gonna do, dog?
Exactly. And this players making millions of dollars. They were like, these dudes is making millions. Why can't I make a little bit more?
There you go.
It was all for the greater good. And if David Stern came, I think even in the excerpt in the book, I think he talks about Tim Donaghy said sometimes David Stern would come and have meetings with them before the game and sit them down, like literally sit them down and be like, this is how we want this to be called. And games and important big Bulls Knicks playoff games, that would be like, all right, this is how we want this game called. You know, when a game, like the fact that games are called certain ways, and they be like, oh, people like to say, oh, it's ref is just human errors. Now, you know when the game's getting called a certain way. You know when the ref, like there's in the NFL, there's holding on every play. So all of a sudden, if you see
5-yard illegal contact, all them games we seen, that Saints game that would have sent them to the Super Bowl, and that
was the worst thing, because the ref was right there. It was right in the ref's face. He clobbered the dude, and the ref was just like, somebody called. I don't know if it was in this earpiece. Somebody called from up above, was like, do not pull out that flag.
It went to
And he
review.
swallowed that joint. Yeah, he swallowed that joint. It went to
They
review, and
went,
they still was
and he
like, "Nah,
still.
it's not happening." And then the NFL, man, I don't know. The NFL is almost. I think sometimes even the players are in on it because if you look at that Lattimore a couple of years ago, I think it was it the divisional playoffs where it was the Vikings against the Saints, and Case Keenum threw that out to Stephon Diggs with 0 seconds left. He didn't throw a Hail Mary. He threw it out. And he caught it, landed. Lattimore completely missed. He tried to dip his shoulder into his legs and missed. And Stephon Diggs ran for the
Yeah,
touchdown.
yeah.
I was I bet on that game. So I was very uneasy about it. So I just kept watching the replay over and over and over again. I'm like, all you had to do is wait till he caught it and tackled him or pushed him out of bounds and the game was over. Why would you inadvertently dive, miss on an out, and then all of a sudden let him run into the end zone?
So you saw the player with that got suspended that was playing with the Atlanta Falcons, the receiver. What's his name?
Ridley, Steve,
Ridley.
Ridley, I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. You saw Calvin Ridley when they would look back after they found out he was gambling
Oh
and
my
betting on games.
goodness.
You went back and look. This man was taking the
He was
angles he was
running in
taking.
circles. He had the whole team beat on one J. He took the wide route and just ran like, he know when somebody told him, like, look, this is what you stay in the game from this. How long you think you're going to be in the NFL? You're going to need this money. Like, go ahead and slide out. That's what I say. I like the players are in on it. It's like when you really look back at it, it's a game. Like these members be like, why would he do that to me? Why would he do that? Like these members are human beings too. If you told me
it's Bama's in the government, got jobs, FBI, all types of stuff. They be doing the same stuff too.
Like there's people at the bank who work for the bank who be stealing money. So like, why in the world you tell me, if you fumble near the end zone, I'm gonna give you $200K extra. Like, excuse me, $200K. If I'm a minimal salary player, I just made it up off the practice squad. You need me to fumble? I'm coughing that joint up and let the chips fall where they may. It's just a game. Ain't nobody gonna remember in 10 years. But that money is gonna be in my account.
You see golfers leaving PGA, go to live golf for just a check. Nothing other than a check, though. Nothing.
And I will too. And you offer me if I knew I wasn't gonna win and I was at the bottom of the pack golfer, and you talking about 80, 200 million, are you crazy? I'm going. I don't care what Tiger says. I don't care what Tiger says. I'm like, just show me where to sign.
Dog, y'all need to know out there. They gonna try. Oh, y'all gassing and stuff. No, it's just the facts. It's a business you need to know. Part of the reasons me and my man Aaron, his clip was higher than mine, but 67% is very high, though.
Yeah, very high.
That's very high. And the only reason it's there is because you gotta factor in the game is rigged.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah, you have to.
There's some times where you think you know and you don't know. That's why they switch up the rules. They do different things here and there. They have marquee games where the money is higher versus these lower market games where the money is lower for Vegas as a whole.
Look, just when you're like, because when you bet on the game, you're so invested in the game, you're watching everything so closely. Anything that's off a little bit is going to make your heart cringe. Like you'll be like, it was 3rd and 21 just now. You're gonna call a defensive hold, and then you look back and you watch it, and Alabama touched him with like his fingertip, and you be like, are they crazy? Are they really serious right now? Or it was 3rd and 30, and they called roughing the passer when Alabama dove at he got pushed into the quarterback's knee, and he didn't even really hit the quarterback. The quarterback was able to jump back. He'd be like, now it's a first down. The drive continues. Another chance, especially if it's Brady.
Those little nuances like that change everything.
Changes everything.
It can change the whole game.
It changes the whole game. It changes the whole game, and that's when you start to realize you're like, these games are tampered with. If the government is tampered with, like in the past, religion has been tampered with in the past. Everything has been tampered with. Even everything has been tampered with. Like everything down to your local friend's fantasy football league. Like it's a little bit tampered with. Like inside the trading trade. So what makes you think on that level that Bama's ain't gonna do is sprinkle a little bit in there?
Wait, the difference is hundreds of millions of dollars, dog, in my pocket.
Exactly.
Dog, hundreds of millions of dollars in my pocket.
Exactly.
The gaming commission. Dog, come on, bro. You
even
got to
back
be a
to the
complete idiot if you don't think that it's not being tampered with, even a little bit.
World Series back in the day when I think I forgot what mob, like one of the five families bosses temper. I think it was like the 1912 World Series where he fixed the game. You know what I'm saying? It's been back then because it's always been to the 1970s that team in Boston, that league. I forgot it was the Boston. I think it was Boston College where it was like Sammy the Bull was like betting on those games, and the guy from Goodfellas, like they were all like getting these guys to like miss shots, turn the ball over at the worst times, commit like stupid fouls. Like it's
Duh.
been since the beginning of time.
And every time some one of them situations happen, cork bat or anything, right?
Yeah,
They deny it. They deny
yeah,
it, though. And the reason they have to maintain integrity in the league. As long as people's belief system in it, that it just, is fair and untouched, dog. That's why people, the sports bets be packed
yeah,
every weekend, though.
yeah. Nah,
You be a, you be a fool to think, dog. Even during the season, there were weeks I just was like, nah, dog. I don't like nothing out there.
yeah.
It
No,
don't
that's
it don't look it don't look right.
it.
Even the,
Always. Who are you telling? Who are you telling? It's
even
always
the
a
stuff,
situation.
even the stuff I'll be like, dog. And that's the thing. What the control that they have behind the scenes, right, is they know all the statistics, they know all the information about the team, right? They know all the information
Yeah,
and then they look at the percentages of where the money is being placed. They know that.
yeah,
They know we don't know that. We see the
exactly.
spreads, we see the whatever, but we don't know that Tennessee versus the Rams, all the money is on Tennessee,
Yeah,
all the money's on the Rams, 80% of the money's on the Rams, and just this game alone will cover the weekend. Just because
exactly.
this game, all the money, all the favorites on the Rams, and all the money, like 80% of the money, but they showing you the spread. The spread say is 56 to 40,
Yeah,
44, like spread. But the money is saying everybody's on the Rams.
yeah,
You and I don't see that. And they see it and they be like, oh yeah, we're gonna put a hook on this one,
yeah.
we're gonna put a hook on this one, and we're gonna put a hook on this one.
Yeah,
And
all of
these
a
three
sudden they
games,
start calling offensive pass interferences like weird stuff. Oh,
and
that was a
you
60
in the
yard
house
run, but there's a
perking.
block in
You
the
in the
back.
house.
Yeah, he was like
What are
blocking the back,
you
blocking the back.
doing?
Like, how could you call that?
Dog, every year, every time. That Tom Brady versus the Giants Super Bowl, all the money was heavy on the Patriots.
Exactly. And they had Randy Moss. We're gonna say if Tom Brady had just let step back and would launch it up to Randy Moss 30 times, they would have won that game. They kept it close, and then the Giants and then Eli made these heroic plays, and then boom, everybody who had that money on the Patriots trying to get a little extra check is dead money.
Dead. And guess who cash out? Vegas. Like,
Exactly, exactly.
and the league gets a portion of the money, dog. That's what it's like. It's a circular thing, dog. They sharing the bread. It's like we tend to make more. That's why you see coaches, they fake mad. They out there, man, blah blah blah. But guess what? They gotta be careful what they say
Yeah, you better
because
not say nothing too crazy. I mean,
we get
even the Bucks and Rams. I think it may have been the second round last year. The Bucks and Rams game. The Bucks were down big. The Rams had control of that game. The Rams fumbled back to back times. Like I think it was Cam Akers. I know he got a fumbling issue. Come on, back to back times, and then Brady hits Mike Evans on a bomb 1-on-1 to Jalen Ramsey. I'm like, come on, dog. Like this game was over. Y'all trying to keep this joint. Cam Akers fumbling the joint back to back to keep this. It's a playoff game. Bama's weren't interested. The viewership was going down. It's just like sometimes I gotta walk away from the TV.
I don't necessarily think that the players be in on it as much as like there's enough people involved in the situation.
Yeah,
Like
to manipulate
sometimes
the
just
game.
those situations just align to where Bama he bet on the game and he didn't know it's about to come down to this,
Yeah,
or not even him, his man's or his family, where he gonna get it on the back end.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And there's ways around it, dog. You got regular Joe Schmoes that found pathways to online betting in areas where you're not allowed to online bet, dog. So you mean to tell me that
yeah.
these Bama's is not trying to find loopholes and dog? You mean to tell me I can make 10K? Don't be a hack. You can't be egregious with it, but Tim Donaghy in the documentary, they asked him a question at the end of the jump. They say, "Are you telling the truth about the money that you reported that you received?"
Yeah.
And at first he says, "I don't know." Then they ask him again. They were like, "Earlier we asked you the question, blah blah blah. I just want to make you, restate the statement again." And he's like, "What?" I said, "What earlier?" "Oh, nah, I didn't mean that." He's like, they're like, "Did you make more money than you told the FBI you made?" He was like, "No, I did not."
Got him! Got him!
I didn't make more money than I told the
What?
FBI. And he like switched his
Yeah.
statement up, right? But it's on film. You see it.
Yeah.
Yo, the Bama made a mint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he gave him 30K, but it's no way you can convince me this Bama threw away his life for 30K.
Yeah. Nah, he didn't do that. He threw away his like probably 1.3. You know what I'm saying?
It had to be in the low to mid millions, though.
Yeah.
But they can't say
absolutely.
they can't tell you that, because if you know this Bama made millions, they only say he bet on about 130 games or something like that. They can't tell you the real numbers because dog, you'll be like, what? First of all, this Bama, I'll be looking for the Bama myself because he hurt my brain. You know what I'm saying? It's so many layers to it, dog. It's so many layers. But I'm telling you, David Stern was the greatest mobster of all time.
Oh, David Stern was definitely a mob boss. Like David Stern,
was a mob boss, and this was his right hand man, dog.
Yeah,
this was his right hand man.
Fact. Did you watch?
Go ahead.
I said, did you watch Carmelo Anthony on $1 million worth of game?
What did he say?
When basically he was like David Stern. After that, remember? I don't know if you remember, the Denver Nuggets and the Knicks got in a fight when Carmelo was on Denver. It was like a joint, like Isaiah Thomas, like Nate Robinson, J.R. Smith. They got in a big fight, a whole bunch of suspensions. He was like, David Stern called him in the office after that and was like, oh, and then it was after he did the little stop snitching campaign. He was like, we've seen the videos of stop snitching. We know who your friends are. We know what your friends are doing for a living. We know where they're headed towards. If you continue to hang out with them, it's not going to work out for you in this league. And this is when Carmelo's like balling out. Like he just like, we know, he was like, we know exactly who all your Baltimore friends are. We know what they do. You know what I'm saying? We've been watching all of that. And basically he was like, yeah, that band was like my video Corleone. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm telling you. No, and that's the thing. When you have a basketball player who's making that much money, they in a lifestyle they want, and you like, dog, we can take it all the way overnight.
Yeah.
You gonna comply. There's rumors. We talked about a rumor about Jordan being involved in the gambling jump heavy. Some conspiracy theorists think that's what added to his dad's passing away, getting murdered.
That like conspiracy. I don't even confuse it. Conspiracy theories are just delayed truths. Like, all right, it's too much to accept that as the truth right now, but give it 10, 15, 20 years and you accept it as the truth. Michael Jordan's father, no disrespect, was murdered because of Jordan's gambling debts. They left his wallet. They didn't take anything in the car. They didn't take the car. They took the keys. What did they just kill him for? Just for sport? Like, he was not paying the guys back in Vegas and he had refused to pay them back. And you can't kill, the mob is not going to kill Michael Jordan. That's too big. That's too high profile.
Yeah.
But they can touch some of his family members. And that's exactly what they did. They touched his family. They touched his father. So Jordan retired afterwards. David Stern told him to lay low for a little while.
Sit down.
It was over. And then
went to go play baseball.
Went to go play baseball. And then he kind of, when all of this blew over and the investigations kind of went away, and Jordan came back. But it was definitely because of Jordan. I mean, you saw the documentary, the shady cats that he was involved with. The
Bama was betting on everything.
Drug dealer, the drug dealer who he gave that check to, Jordan had to testify in court for that situation. I forgot what to do, Slim something. Yeah. Like Jordan had to testify, like, yeah, I paid him before gambling that. Like, so Jordan was involved with some very shaky and fishy characters. And he got caught up with the wrong people. He didn't have the bread right away to pay him, and they made him pay. That's what happened. And Barkley was in kind of sort of the same situation, but that situation made Barkley pay up.
No, NBA athletes could tell you all the propositions they got. Bama's came to them, did shady stuff, offered them this, offered them that. Bro, I'm telling you, they all been in some. It's a dirty game.
It's a
I just
dirty
want y'all to
game
know.
out
I just
here.
want y'all to know the truth out there, dog. We not making. I'm not trying to hurt you. You can still let a game. You can still root for your team. You can still put the bread up. It'd be 50-50.
Exactly.
You know, if you hit or not. You know, you can still feel the rush and the euphoria of winning the game and stuff like that. You know, you can do all of that. But I just want you. I want to be clear. Y'all gonna stop slandering this Bama. You
What?
saying he not trustworthy? I'm like, dog. Like when Bama's get hemmed up, like he got hemmed up, and he was about to do hard time and all this
Yeah.
and lose it all. Dog, Bama's about to drop a dime.
Yeah, and
He's
that's
about to drop a
exactly what he
dime
did.
on everything.
So,
And
and
it was like,
I've asked people time and time again. I'm like, so let me ask you this question: are you telling me that Tim Donaghy was lying about everything, and they could never answer that question whenever I ask them directly? Because there's no way you think that man is just completely making this up, and he just they're like, what is he? He's just bitter that he's no longer in the league. Please, like he's just telling
dog,
the truth. Like, and you could just hear it. I watched the interview with Rashid and Bonzi Wells. Like, this man is telling the truth.
dog, what about the book, dog? What happened? He had a book.
That Vito, they were Knicks, just like the RG3 book. It's right. It's in the vault with that joint. It's like them shirts will never see the light of day. RG3 cut that deal, the settlement check. He was like, yeah, so I'm gonna do college football, cover it for the next 20 years. All right,
Dog,
shove
first of
it.
all, I felt like his career took an uptick once he started, like he was about to
Of
go
course,
in and
like
start
even like that,
snitching.
there was leverage. It was
He
leverage.
said,
He was like, all right, yeah,
give
I
my
got this
man a
book.
job.
Yeah. And they were like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Dan slid him a little something. Dan might have slid him a little something. Roger Goodell might have said, gave him a little deal. Like it was something under the table where that book just kind of went away
because
silently.
you gotta think about it. The Gruden, the emails,
Yeah.
all of that stuff, the way they treated him, the funny business with the staff and how they like, all types of stuff,
Yeah.
dog.
You
You
think
might
Gruden
get a
was the
Bama
only
might
female they saw?
plus you got you also know, like just like in the what's the magic time, Joe? When
Yeah.
they were showing like how David Stern would like go to talk to people and be like,
Yeah.
talk to the athletes, the superstars.
Yeah.
Dog, you don't even know that year RG3 came and was like that 2012 season. You don't
Yeah.
even know if Bama's would have came and told them like, yeah, you next up. Because they got
Yeah.
set away. Dog, it's a whole mafia
Yeah.
situation. How they be giving Bama's the nod and all
Yeah.
like you about to be next up, or we gonna get behind you or endorse you or pull the plug on you. It's whatever. If you not
So they'll
wanting to
put a
play
plug
ball,
on you while you still have a lot of gas left in the tank. If you're not following in the way of the ship. Like Terrell Owens had a 1,000-yard season, and then they were like, "Nah, it's over for you. Your
they
career's
won't even
over."
put him in
I
the
don't care.
top 100 list. Like
Yeah,
they
like
blackball that Bama and don't
yeah,
he's third
like
in
they just
receiving.
the Bama was in prime athletic shape. He's in prime athletic shape right now. He was definitely in prime athletic shape 12 years ago, and he was coming off a season with Cincinnati, and everybody was like, could agree that he was still a baller, and they were like, "Nah, you out the league." You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't Chad Ocho Cinco. Like you want to keep running your mouth, you out the league. Like Antonio Brown, you out the league. Cole Beasley, oh you gonna fight back against the vaccine? Cole Beasley was one of our best receivers last year. Gone. Like you can't speak out against what the league wants you to do. You just gotta fall in line. Gotta be a Larry Fitzgerald.
Dog, where Eric Reed at?
Who? Like that was long gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? They slid him out the back doors. Like they told Cap to get out the front door. They slid Eric Reed out the back. Like, hold on. Like he tried to get back in. He was like, I thought you said I had the key card. He's like, nah, that joint don't work. That door is bolted locked.
This Tim Donaghy situation is the Bible for conspiracy theories, for truth that will never come out. Like it is what it is, dog. And Adam Silver, he took that scepter
Yeah.
and he
He's a
not
decipher.
David Stern,
Yeah.
but you can't take over for David Stern unless you study
I
under
mean,
the
he
David Stern
studied under David
tutelage.
Stern for all those years. Like he knows exactly what to do. He's like, all right, now let me take it to the next level.
Now, if you recognize too, because I've been paying attention, dog. The funny business is even more like it's more shrouded in cloud, and it's harder to even see now. It's harder to see.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
I definitely agree with that.
like there was games this year, and I was like, oh yeah, here come the hook, and the hook didn't come. I was like, ho, what?
Yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets get swept?
Yeah.
Are you serious? Like stuff you like, and the thing is, because the brand is built up to a certain level, he can do stuff like that. But it's a long play, dog. It's always a long play.
It's definitely
That's the difference between the wealthy and people who just like regular Joe Schmoes, whatever. The wealthy, they always playing a long game.
yeah.
Let me get you locked into this 18% interest, and then you just give it back to me later. But we're gonna just charge the interest on it, and then over time, you pay
Over
the
time,
Bama back
exactly,
18,000 times 3.
exactly.
Because he care about the long game, dog.
To me, they're almost like characters. Like I look at Kyrie Irving, I was like, it's good for the NBA that Kyrie Irving has this spaced out, wild character. He's all the way out there, has all these different views. That when he goes to Boston, they boo him every time he touches the ball. He's like this villain. Like amongst woke people love him. They'll go to fight for him. Like they went and protested outside of Barclays Arena for him. Boston, the racist Boston fans hate him, boo him every time he touches the ball. So you have these two sides that love him, but everybody's tuned in to watch Kyrie, so it's good. Same thing with KD. He's like a lovable and hateable character.
Yeah.
But everybody's going to be tuned in to watch him. The NBA stepped in and was like, I know y'all want to get traded, but it's good for the NBA for Kyrie and KD, the two villains, to be on the same team.
Yeah.
This is good for the league,
Yeah.
especially right now. And then on top of that, like we're going to add a little sprinkle of villain with Ben Simmons because we know y'all don't like him. You know what I'm saying? We're going to drop little things in like, yeah, when they asked him to play game 4, he removed himself from the group chat. Just stuff like that into your mind seeps into. So when you watch the game, you're going to be more into it.
Well, the game is covered differently than it ever has been in our time, right? There's just a level of access that's there, and opposed to fighting against it and trying to restrict it, they just kind of open the book and say, we're going to just make it Game of Thrones, dog.
Yeah,
And we just going to have all these characters, and we're going to just have the entertainment value, and we're going to do what the NFL has done to a marvelous job, as they have Bama's engaged, even in the offseason, to the Game of Thrones saga of what's happening and all that's happening. And they just run it, dog. And it's all to make money.
I agree. At the end of the day, it all comes down to it's all for money. It's the way they market the NBA is wild. It's just the way, and like they want certain things. The way they paint pictures of certain people is out of control. But I realize it's good. Like KD going back and forth with the legends, it's all good for the NBA. You get into a Barkley, Pippen, any of those dudes, it's all good for the NBA. Like KD gets swept. Yes, I hate KD. When LeBron missed the playoffs, all right, LeBron come back. I'm gonna be bigger and stronger year 21 or the year 20. Like I'm coming back. It's all for the marketing.
This whole saga with LeBron playing with his kids and all like that, they gonna sell it. They
definitely gonna sell
unless
it.
the Bama legs fall off.
They probably gonna let the Lakers get both of them. If Lonzo would have played his part, they would have let the Lakers have Lonzo and LaMelo. They all would have been Angelo, all would have been on the same team. But Lonzo didn't play his part. He kept getting hurt wearing those Z2s. Like that's where he messed up.
No, it's all they write a script. It's a storyline. It's things they want to happen, though. If a regular business is projecting their bottom lines at the end of the year, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this drink we got, this is going to be our best seller this year." We're gonna put it at the front of stores. We're gonna get it sold. It's the same thing with the players. Yeah, I don't know why our fans can't really understand the business model of selling athletes across the board, dog, and why the Utah Jazz fleece the mess out of the Cavaliers to get these pieces, to get one piece, right? Because they know they're not going to win with Donovan Mitchell. But what they do know is that Donovan Mitchell is going to sell jerseys. That is going to put forth this perception that Cleveland's going to be, a top 5 seed, and that they're going to be in a conversation, this, and that, and it makes another team relevant. And Utah Jazz, they tried the small market and build it up. It just wasn't working, dog, because Bama's really didn't care.
Exactly.
Right? So they're like, "We'll scrap that. Get a Bama." It's all a part of the marketing game.
It's all a part of it. Like, all right, now they got to retool. Like we spread these pieces around. Like they try to put the right players. Like even with Carmelo going to the Knicks back in 2011, it's what needed to happen. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks needed. Amari Stoudemire had taken them to that level. It's like, all right, we're gonna get Carmelo, and that's gonna bring New York back. And I was in New York hanging around a lot. I was dating a girl who lived there at the time, so I was going back and forth. I saw the billboards in Times Square, how much it like Carmelo. He took New York by storm. It was good marketing.
Yeah,
New York needed it.
I'll say, what's the big boy play with the Pelicans? Can't never stay healthy.
Zion.
Zion.
Yeah.
Zion was supposed to leave, though.
Yeah.
But they saw all the excitement from the playoff run, and they probably put a stay. That's why his whole attitude changed. Oh, I want to be with the Pelicans, and I'm, they said they were like, oh, well, New Orleans, because they was ready to pull the plug, dog, and force them out of there. And they saw that there was a lot of buzz. People was watching the Pelicans, it's New Orleans and stuff like that. They're like, hold on, we might got something here. Let's hold back, dog. Let's hold back
and give them that extension.
It's all a part of the game, dog.
It's also, I just take it for the entertainment for what it is. But you know what I'm saying? I don't get too, when something goes egregiously wrong, I don't get too caught up. I just have to, I've seen watching games, being invested in these games, I've seen so much stuff where I'm like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? And then
they could change the games, Ralph. They could change the overtime rules to make it more fair and equitable.
They did off that Josh Allen Chiefs game. They were like, all right, now every team gets a chance no matter what in overtime. So they changed the rule right then to make it like, so they were like, that's going to add more excitement. It could be an end of a game if a team I could throw a bomb on a triple team and they could call pass interference in the end zone and the ball's at the 1 yard line. That just that just changed the game. That just gave Tom Brady one more chance to like throw a game-winning touchdown. You know what I'm saying? Or Peyton Manning or any of those guys. Like anything could happen. Like I could be driving to the hole for the last shot of the game. I just call a little ticky-tack foul. Just like what? Now he goes to the line. He in the game at the line.
We seen it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That, like it's so much stuff they could do. Oh, call a crazy travel. You know what I'm saying? Like anything could like call anything. Oh, a quick elite defense.
Oh, you're gonna see it. You're gonna see in the documentary how they started calling palming. Allen Iverson.
Oh yeah. I watched the interviews when they were like they were upset with him, and until he corrected it, like they started calling palming on every time he tried to do his patented crossover.
The Batman had a patented crossover, and they was like, nah, we about to change all that because we got the power and authority.
Even though Patrick Ewing and Jordan would change their pivot foot like clockwork. You know what I'm saying? Elijah Wan too. Just like, yeah, we're not calling that. If the joint looks smooth, we're not calling it because he's a superstar. So just slide. But now you see some of these superstars get away with like ridiculous travels. Like I've seen Jason Tatum do some of the most unbelievable things. I'm like, come on now. Like that Bama got good footwork, but that was too much. Bama just worked his way to the hole. I seen Greek Freak take off from half court.
No, I see.
He's like, yeah, I see them
take 3 steps, dog. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, like he'll get the rebound one time. Exactly. Like, how did he get from the other side of the court, 3/4 of the court with one dribble? You know what I'm saying?
It's egregious, dog. Oh man, Ralph, I appreciate you, good brother.
Man, no problem. No, anytime, man. Anytime. You know, this is my lane.
We might have to have you on again, dog, because I know some stuff we're gonna have some egregious happenings this season.
Yeah, we're gonna see that opening night Bills Rams. If I see somebody I don't like, I'm calling out. I know people like, oh, you just mad because it's your team. Nah, I'm gonna call it out. If I see something like, come on, man, like is this what they want? They got the team in LA. Us?
Spread 3.5 in favor of y'all.
Well, on the road.
On the road, that's already.
They think they really are holding the Bills to high regards. That scares me a little bit.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think it's a pick 'em. It should be a pick 'em.
It is
honestly.
It's a pick 'em because I did without
you. Talking about a Super Bowl winning team that retooled and got better versus, a top 3 team in the league.
Yeah.
So it's not that far apart.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's definitely going to be a great game. We would have a better shot if Tre'Davious White was playing, but the fact that we have these unexperienced going, and they do have Allen Robinson, and they have Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson, so like you know what I'm saying, we got our hands full trying to guard them.
Yeah. Oh, appreciate you. Go check out the documentary. Untold.
Oh yeah, no, that's my little treat tonight. I'm gonna kick my feet up. Watch that doc.
Look, after you watch the doc, you gonna be like, I got some more to say, dog. I'll tell you this thing. The next gentleman we talk about is the Untold Monte Teo jump, bro.
From Notre Dame?
Dog, you gotta watch that too, bro. you gotta watch that one too, bro.
Definitely.
Follow us at OSS at Other Side of Sports. Subscribe to the channel. You got any shout outs, Ralph? You want to give them your Twitter handle? People will follow you.
I'll give you my Instagram. My Instagram is at King Rico Forever. King Rico, the number 4 EVA. So King Rico, after, you know what I'm saying, if you want to see just day-to-day content and just the life and times of King Rico, aka Monroe Banks.
My man, dog. Appreciate you. And we out.
All right, man. Be safe.